Oh, oops.
What's the oops?
All right, I had started the stream starting soon banner,
Mm-hmm.
and then I was setting up the two stream in between game, and I forgot to change it, so it was sitting there for a second. Oops. Did you want the stream here? Let me, in fact, try and get that into Discord.
Sure.
Let me. So this is where that's at. Come back here.
So can I keep this dictionary yourself?
Well, it's great grandpa's. That one's great grandpa's dictionary. You can use it, but you give it back to great grandpa when you're done so that you know where it's at.
Okay.
All right.
This book's heavy. Oh. That's a thick book. There's 1,007 pages in there. Okay. Now all there is a word search.
Okay.
Don't have to do the word
Unregistered
search.
tournament. Okay. Got that. So that I'm not participating and trying to cast at the same time, because that is always fun.
Yeah, it's the door.
All right. All right. So bear with me here 1 second. I want to fix something. Oh, that causes me issues. Okay, we are live here. We are streaming.
Put in your mouth. Thank you. You stopped it. Good one.
Alrighty.
Woohoo! Good afternoon, everybody.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the No Unique campaign, everyone.
That is right. Once again, no uniques. Something a little different.
Yeah, I actually haven't checked out the format yet. I've done a lot of thinking and theory crafting around it, but this is actually, I'm still pretty new to it, so I'm pretty excited to watch some games today.
Nice. It definitely is a little different because it changes the flow of how you build a deck quite a bit.
Oh, for
You're
sure.
not relying on, say, that perfect unique that draws cards or, does X, Y, and Z to win your rounds.
Also allows you to, as an opponent, it really allows you to think through all of the possible lines that your opponent can have and really strategize around the outs that you can, really, play around or play into. I think there's a lot of strategies, like a lot of slower strategies that can actually blossom in a format like this because you don't have to worry about some unique that you didn't know had some sort of combination of effects that you get sort of blown out by. Um, there's also there's a lot of nuance there. There's certain strategies that you can't actually pull off without certain uniques as well. So
Exactly.
um, yeah, no, I mean there's also a lot of give and take there.
Right, so the matches have started. Let's see if one has. Ooh, here we go. So it does look like we got our first match starting. We'll go ahead and click on over. And here we go. We got Elwiwi and Scaragon. Elwiwi on his typical Fen, and we got a Sigmar.
Let's see here. Yeah, so Fen versus Sigmar here.
You can find it. If Ethan was able to find, Alan can find.
So what sorts of strategy is the Fen player going to be playing with today? You said this is his typical Fen?
Elwiwi comes up with something creative, from what I understand, almost every time. He has a few different flavors and loves playing various lines. He is pulling out a new Shiva card, so that is kind of nice to see that he is using a new card. Ooh, and this is one of the most powerful mechanics in the game at the moment. This Ascended is huge.
Yeah, for sure. This Ordinance Messenger certainly showed up a lot in Worlds and definitely wrecked a lot of expeditions, for sure.
All right, and I
Yeah,
think
sort
I
of the
froze up. I love this little bug
yes,
lately.
sort of the new classic Sigmar, sort of just doing Sigmar stuff here.
Yeah, there is a new build out there where you're basically just pushing and winning, within 6-7 mana, and not even trying to care about card draw anymore. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, almost probably how I think they were intending Sigmar to play initially when they were doing some game dev, thinking that he was going to be a high pressure hero instead of a more infinite resource hero.
Makes sense. In fact, the Baba Yagan suspension has really kind of brought Sigmar in line, in my opinion.
I also think that it's also sort of allowed people to be more experimentative with Sigmar as well, because it isn't just, well, why wouldn't you just play every card that says card draw? Um, and it allows for new strategies, like you said, like this one, which is not playing so much card draw, but instead just trying to win a lot more with the stats or aggressive ways of pushing lanes. Um, And there's even some other strategies around Sigmar. We saw some of them when I went and played in the top eight of, or not top eight, when I played at the WCQ Montreal. There's a lot of people playing like Sacrifice Sigmar, which is really interesting.
Interesting.
Um, yeah,
I was I got into the control slash sleep Sigmar for a little bit. That was quite fun,
yeah.
actually. When you have
I,
4 different cards that can just sleep anybody, and yeah, you just basically keep somebody slept the entire game and continue winning one side at a time.
yeah. I was when I first started playing the game. That's what I initially was thinking about when I saw Sigmar. I was like, "Oh, you get a free token every turn, and there's cards already set up to like sacrifice stuff in Sigmar and in Ortis." And it was so funny. I thought it was so strange that when someone said that Sigmar was like the super aggressive hero, I was like, "Oh, what?" Like it was,
I know. I got into the game playing Navenka and just loving the roll factor, right? You know, the dice, the
yeah,
chance, and uh, yeah, and eventually I just learned that, yeah, like you said, Sigmar is just so pressure, has so much pressure. And it's like,
yeah.
don't roll a
But,
one.
yeah, I know. Yeah. Oh no, all the marbles. He rolled 3 1s in one game at Worlds, and it was unfortunate. Ugh,
That's unfortunate.
yeah. But yeah, the ones can catch up to you for sure.
Looks like we got a
Um,
classic Owiwi stacking cards in reserve to play that large Anansi.
yeah, yeah. Really also showing some of the power here of Fen as well. Lost 2-0 on the first day, but has been keeping pace since then. Going to need to start making up some ground here, but
Knowing Owiwi,
definitely.
he's got a trick or two up his sleeve. He does have at
Oh,
least
for
one
sure.
card
Yeah.
reduction in his hand, which always helps.
Hi. What's up, cutie?
Nope, just gonna play that Anansi, win the
And
side.
we are also seeing that the lack of card advantage as well from Ortis, right? The Ortis player right here only has 2 cards left in hand. Does have the anchored Bumblebee, so is going to have that value stick around for next turn. But obviously, the Nazi right now is just outclassing it. All right, playing an Ortis Crier again against the Anansi, so threatening something here.
There's flower.
It's gonna be an expensive turn for that Sigmar. Let's see, what is Owiwi gonna do? Is he gonna block? Yep.
So a Trooper could block here.
Gets to return a card to his hand. I would imagine he'll eventually return the sleight of hand.
Yeah, so playing the Incaster to the other side is not very threatened by the 1 mana play from Sigmar.
Yeah. And there's that rare trooper.
Yeah, go tell
Oh,
Grandma.
yep, and the card reduction comes in handy.
Grandma.
Now he evens the state of the game.
Yeah, precisely. Yep. So is able to do exactly what we were saying before, right? Yeah. So the Sigmar had that 2-0 lead from day one, and here Fen is able to take a 2-0 and tie things up. Um, and also, Sigmar is now going to have 2 cards in reserve, but 0 cards in hand, and Fen is now going to have 2 cards in hand, 1 card in reserve, and um, they do have the Bumblebee still in play, but at this point, I feel like Fen just has a lot more room to breathe, and also the cards pound for pound, I think are going to start showing their value.
Oh, and the counting sheep. Oh, that's gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt the Sigmar player for sure.
For sure. Yeah. That's another card that I thought I wasn't sure how much impact it was going to have in the new set. It's been pretty awesome to see.
Lots of value at it, lots of play styles around it too. It's especially fun for those festival decks out there.
Oh my gosh, yeah. This value right there.
At that level with it, like, I see the word cloud and I see it already. I know you're working on cloud
With
right
the
now.
resupply.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. There's a combination of cards from Sigmar here that I think gets them out of this value train here.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Oh yes, the trooper will definitely go night-night very soon. And there it
But
goes.
that's because I
Sleep
can't look
tight.
at groups together. Or if I can't find it and it doesn't just jump out at me, like here,
As the famous phrase in Altered goes, we will deal with those characters tomorrow.
then I go
I'll deal with that tomorrow.
like there's
Yeah, that's Tomorrow Fenn's problem.
no, okay, because I keep going down that line. Then I go down the next line.
I do that all the time at my local game store. He's gonna go night-night. I'll deal with him tomorrow.
That way you don't get confused by just you're not.
Ooh, we
I
got.
saw what you were doing.
Yeah, one of my favorite things to do is always to slate my own characters and keep them around. So, and especially have some uniques, but here just getting that sweet value.
Gonna get the one side win. There we go. Return the sleight of hand back to hand.
Becomes fun and relaxing. Whoa.
You're actually at the right spot.
And we'll see what his answer is for today.
Yeah, I mean Sigmar is carrying over a lot of stats.
Yes, he is. But he's just gonna have a lack of cards in hand.
For sure, but the amount of, I guess, cards on board equaling cards in hand is pretty high. It would just be a shame if there was, uh, another put some characters to sleep effects coming.
Well, there's one way to take care of that card advantage or character advantage. Just remove it.
Yeah, yeah, Requiem. A little costly, but definitely worth it to take out the bubble bleed.
Ooh, he chose not to. Oh, it's not the rare one. Okay, so it's the common ugly duckling.
It was, oh, okay, yeah.
Oh, got the second Orbos Ink Caster. Can cycle those Ink Casters if he really wants. Oh, and we've got the
See if
Templar. For this.
see if there's the ability here.
So I think this Templar just guarantees a win, a double advance.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie.
He's got to play it to get the double advance and be costly. Is he gonna? Is he gonna? He's gonna already have cards coming down. Yep, he's gonna play it. Guarantees a trooper next round. His reserve does not overflow.
yeah. It's gonna be a pretty tough spot here.
Oh my god.
All right, let's see what Magica Weewee's got.
Yeah, he kind of just blended us. I don't know what else to say there. I just work here.
And the discard. We got Noon. Ooh, the Anansi really does help.
Yeah, Fenn really needs, a lot of stats, I feel like, to fight some of these hands that are going to be coming from Sig.
There we go.
It's surprising to see Sig mana on this turn here.
You didn't. They moved this. You.
Oh, we just needs one more slow play, and then he can avoid the withdraw. Ooh. X marks the spot. Goodbye,
yeah.
accountant.
Yeah, Accountant
And
I mean,
this,
luckily,
I think this just guarantees a will be a double advance.
There.
yeah, I think, yeah, on board, very easy advance, double advance. Um, but the other thing though is that, um, oh, actually, and the Xbox spot was super great as well because it pushed the accountant back to the deck, so it's going to delay the ability to sleep Fen here because that's sort of another threat. You know, Fen does typically have a lot of ways to keep after Ewing, so you can sort of force them to have to play their sleep effects. Um, but again, sort of just another way that Sig could have um, sort of come back on this last day. But that X marks the spot really sort of did a lot there.
Reina's was mid. She might be rotating back to her spawn.
And we just stacking the
Yeah.
cards in reserve.
Yeah, just a Bumblebee there. Lyra Signet. It's pretty
One
good.
thinks he has a Nunci in hand, and he's just waiting to play it.
I don't even think it needs it. But
Oh no.
yeah, a Nazi would definitely be, quite good for sure.
Not
Yeah.
gonna lie, I
Pass.
picked up the outlaw. I should have kept the marshal.
That Lyra Signet is so big.
So big.
I've been one-shotting him anyway.
And there's our first game. Wee Wee with the win.
Yeah, I don't know why I got. I don't know. Why
Yeah,
I got
that was
shit.
great. You know, it was a lot of back and forth. You know, the 2-0 from Sigmar day one, into the stabilization from Fen, and then Fen having to sleep all those characters for the following day, and then getting 2-0'd back, and then into the double block day for Fen into the win is it's a
Showing
lot of
why
back and forth there. Yeah.
Showing why Wee Wee is the master of Fen. Alright. On to our other game here. We
Ooh,
got
some exciting stuff here. Yeah, we got some classic Muna anchors. And another Sig.
the Wyvern come probably
Bro,
back
realize
against
you know what he's
Sigmar.
right.
Ah, yeah. Yeah, I really feel like the Wyvern is a really fun card. I just think it's a really exciting card to play right now, especially with all of the Sigmar players out there.
You have ult. You have ult.
Interesting. Don't see this card very often. Do not see the physical training in Muna very often.
Yeah,
And
my-
that's actually
my-
going to get the win.
yeah. My fiance plays a lot of Muna and Bravos and loves physical training and has blown me out with it numerous times, and every time I feel like it shouldn't have worked, but it always somehow seems to sneak up on me.
It always somehow does. Alright. So now
So,
we are in between.
Going to the arena. Oh no, that was the
Nope.
game.
They
Okay,
had,
sorry.
the double
Yeah,
advance to the single
Double
advance.
advance. Yeah.
Alright, just waiting on this last game to finish up. I think they're in their last move or so also. Should be just a moment while that finishes up. So have you heard some of the big news? First off, they announced that BGA will be having some new formats, which is kind of nice. They are going to actually try and work on introducing the no unique format as an official standard. And then additionally on top of that, they're going to, I think, try a 39 card single deck where you basically just every card is a single card in your entire deck.
Timeless kind of shit.
Kind of different.
Yeah, that's really exciting. Both of those are really exciting, right? I think when I first heard about the no unique format, I really thought to myself, that sounds like playing altered for the sake of playing altered, and also a format that it really levels the playing field when it comes to like entry level into the format, so like new players gets really accessible. So it's really exciting to hear the hearing Equinox and VGA sort of supporting that officially, and the singleton formats. You know, like a lot of other card games also have like a singleton format, and that's also kind of interesting as well because it sort of forces you to have to play with cards that you don't typically play with, ones that aren't quite good enough for making a traditional deck.
Exactly.
But that are like sealed or draft all stars, and I myself love a lot of like funky and interesting cards and mechanics in the game. So I think it might be a little early. I think for the singleton format, I still think that you might want a little bit larger of a card pool, but I'm excited to look into it for sure.
It's almost like you'd have one of every card right now.
Yeah, almost. Yeah, yeah. It definitely feels that way. Um, Yeah, especially because you're still gonna. I'm assuming that I haven't taken a look at the specifications, but I'm assuming it's still gonna be 15 rares, and 21 commons and three uniques potentially. So I feel like the constraints there, yeah, it's gonna be pretty tough.
That'll be different. All
But
right.
that's really exciting. I mean, anytime you get new formats and certain formats get more support, I think it's just only better for the game. The more ways to play and interact with the game, the better. So
Appeals to more a broader base of
God, you guys are
fans
throwing.
for sure.
exactly. Yep. And this also coming right off the heels of Worlds, right? So we have the extremely competitive, the cornerstone of the traditional altered scene, and then they're showing their embracing of the community creative formats and showing that support is really great. So.
Exactly. All right. I believe our last game is almost done. I think they're just in their last turn or so.
Guys.
All right. I do believe that last game has finished, so we'll wait for the second round to start. Looks like the matchings have occurred. Just waiting for them to start now. I saw an interesting podcast over the week also. There was an announcement that was officially made by Equinox stating that they are eventually going to have a rotation. So there is going to be a set rotation eventually.
Yeah, I feel like that's something that just sort of naturally has to happen with any given game, because as more sets come out and older sets become harder and to become accessible. Also, just the larger the card pool, the more refined the decks are going to be, the more fast the gameplay is going to be. It can get pretty tricky to have innovation. So by having those rotations, it's going to make it so that things are a little bit more flexible with cards that you want to play with, and also it doesn't force them to have to institute power creep either, because each of these set rotations is going to be isolated for that purpose. So it's always a good it's always a good idea, I feel like, for set rotations in constructed. There's also always a place for sort of like eternal formats, right, where you can play with the entire card pool. But I think you always want to have those two separate experiences, both for ease of for new players and also for game mechanics as well. You know,
Yeah,
if you introduce a new
definitely.
game
Myself, I'm not
mechanic,
gonna lie.
you don't want to have it competing against all the other previous mechanics sometimes.
Yeah,
But
and especially they did admit that the power creep of the set one uniques, or the power of the set one uniques, is definitely a little larger than they anticipated. You know, and that was definitely seen in like kind of like set two, set three uniques. They were definitely not as strong as set one.
yeah, it's one of those things where it was the first time they were really doing it and releasing it, right? So I mean, you were bound to have sort of outliers. You were bound to sort of have this sort of unpredictability. Um, Not to say that there aren't really powerful uniques that have come out of future sets either. I've seen a lot of pretty powerful Trial by Frost
You know, not me stressed
and
out.
future sets. You know, it's they've. I feel like they've kind of figured out how to have them be a little bit more in line, though, a little bit more
This set,
average.
I have seen a lot more functional uniques, right?
Yeah,
Yes, there are a little bit of more conditions on them, right? And I really actually like the if the other person has more cards in your hand condition.
Bro.
They just feel a little bit better this time around.
I can't
yeah.
stand this thing.
So in Whispers, I actually opened a Silas that has a condition to get boosts for the number of cards in your hand. You
Okay.
have to have a landmark. And then it has the other ability where whenever a
Same
character
speed
joins
limit.
any of your expeditions, you draw a card. And the conditional to get the boost was actually a boon, not a bane.
I said game one
Especially
time.
when there's a lot of license withdrawals out there. I actually don't want my Silas to have boosts on him sometimes, so I will actually intentionally not play landmarks to not trigger the Silas, so that way I don't have to care about removal. So there's also some uniques where you can find that do things like that where it's modal. You can choose whether or not you want certain effects to happen to play around other cards. So I only think that it benefits a lot of uniques to have more conditional features because it also allows them sort of to bend some of the abilities too, make them a little stronger, but have that conditional aspect. So I agree with you. Yeah. Um, but the match here that we got, Sig versus Traced, little interesting start here. I feel like Sig is really sort of showing his strength here in the early game, taking these long leads here. Um, Trace does need to hit that fifth counter here, which off the Frankenstein is definitely going to be able to do that, start drawing cards, and seeing if Trace can get out of this situation.
Well, he's at least
Shoot
guaranteed
him,
one
bro.
side, in my opinion. Plays this
Yep.
Frankenstein, hits the airlift, removes here. Oh yeah, got the sniffer. Yeah, he'll definitely.
Oh yeah, it's looking a lot better now for Traced.
Pop that. Tie this
Oh,
side.
no.
And he augments himself. Ooh, that's going to be a double advance for the Traced now. This is by far, in my opinion, the most annoying card this set.
Oh my gosh, I can't tell you. I I hate playing it against Traced, primarily because it always just feels like I can never have a gauge on how many cards they can actually play in a given turn. It always feels like they rattle off the resupply into resupply, and I always think, okay, I have them covered for this turn, and they always blow me out.
And they always get that one extra card, two extra cards that
Yep.
play for one cost. And it's like, what?
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah, I play a lot of Ghoulrang. I have a lot of Meziktats in play, and the number of times they find the rare Grams right on time is brutal.
got a couple origamiums.
What do you mean? I got 3 headshots there, and I hit Reyna for 93.
Boost some characters.
Oh, 2 headshots. My bad. I killed one of them with the molly.
I really do like this ascended mechanic.
Bro, when you-
I'm actually kind of a
you know
fan
that
of it
weird.
now that I've been starting to get used to it.
Yeah, it's a really interesting mechanic. I feel like it's a way to give like a pseudo boost, and also to putting a condition status on an expedition allows for more interesting space for development as well. Having these conditional abilities to do stuff to ascended expeditions or characters in ascended expeditions.
Exactly. More
just
creative
more interesting
gameplay.
choices.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
More
Yeah.
creative gameplay.
The breakdown of Altered for having the zones that they have and the ability to use those cards in those zones. Already from the first set, I saw that there was a lot of flexibility in the way that they can have a lot of game mechanics, and putting keywords onto expeditions, I think, is going to be really interesting to see if we do anything else like this where we see more of these kind of like keywords placed on expeditions, changing fundamentally how we handle scoring or moving.
Is he going to remove or resupply?
Yeah, it's pretty dominating here from Trace. Exactly what Trace sort of needed to try to start closing out this lead that Sigmar built.
Well, you would think that he now plays the Ortis Messenger, gives it a boost, wins the side. Yep. You would have thought that he would have actually removed the token, because he was already guaranteed to win this side.
Yeah, I guess it ultimately wouldn't have mattered removing the token. I guess it was going to be the same either way. Ultimately, I think no matter what, I think Trace was bound to win the companion side and lose the hero.
Full blind.
Another a trooper. Another strong card as usual.
Yeah, the cost for stats is just so good on that card.
And like you say, it gives that Suedo boost. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, effectively threatening 5/5/5, right? So.
We got another Grims. There goes that Origamium again.
Front door open. Front door closed.
Or does he create a brass bug?
Yeah, the old army in the cam there.
Yep, he needs that 5 stat. Yep.
You heard that too, right?
Yeah, those Aeroloft tokens and Grims were just a match made in heaven there. This is the first thing I thought of, and I was like, oh, good.
Yeah, Boom also finally gives a good target for Boom.
For sure. I've got a few interesting uniques that required sacrificing permanents, so I was definitely pretty excited for this new set.
Did you hear that?
Yep, should be an easy double advance here for the Trist.
Yeah, it's basically the last turn that they can do this sort of allowing Sigmar to move, right? So hopefully, it gets to it has the salvager there to take the spot.
Yeah, all 5 mid.
right.
Skybound Odyssey is really on display here in this event. I feel like we've seen almost, I mean, every single deck that we've seen has numerous cards from the new set. I'm assuming people are just trying out the new cards, but it does also just feel like a lot of the newer set 4 cards are just pretty powerful overall.
There are a lot more useful cards. I would agree. Things that can create new play lines, new synergies, new strategies. I
I wrote a whole essay.
All right. The Trist is definitely going to have some card advantage here. We'll be able to see everything that the Sigmar has. And now he'll be able to react as needed.
There's one more there still. It's okay, okay. So take that.
And Dr. Frankenstein, with an airlift reef out, is every
You know
person's
him.
nightmare.
You know him. You love him.
And that just guarantees now he takes that. Yeah, that's going to be the win for the Trace right there. You figure it just takes out the gargoyle. Yep. And in theory, he's going to have a card in hand to
Bro,
play.
my ult through. Oh no!
Taylor?
Yeah, basically any character does it here.
Yep. And the Grams. All right, there we go. Aragorn with the win on Trist. Everybody's favorite villain.
Guys, why is it always losing?
Yeah, I mean, it's been pretty tough to be a Sig player in these matches.
Looks like we got one match left. Let's go ahead and check in on this real quick. Ooh, not looking good though. Almost. All right, we got a Tasia versus Tasia, and we got a lot of stats over here.
Oh yeah, I mean, generally seems to be the case with Tasia.
Race pick mid.
I don't know. I found this shoe and I was playing with it, and
Ooh,
I still
found a way to
love that.
stall it
I
out.
put it on my foot.
I'm
I
sorry.
still love that Thespian works the way that it does with the Tasia ability, where you get to play it and then get to play the boost onto itself, and then check and then get the extra boosts. Just the way that the mechanics stack in Altered is awesome.
I know. I like how you can choose the order of effects a lot of
Oh,
times.
Rain is
Yes.
Yeah, and the effects check when they resolve rather than before they get placed,
Mhm.
which is really cool. It allows for really interesting, unique templates as well as play patterns as well. It's really cool. That is a massive Coniferal cone, man.
Yeah. I think the physical trainings. There we go. That
Yep.
would make sense.
Excuse me, sir.
The drowsy dodo. Now you would think you don't even play on that side now.
Dude, I hit Raina 144 in the head. That's crazy.
Ooh, mana reaping.
She really said I eat
What's
those.
he gonna remove? That Thespian. Yep. Putting
Yeah,
the top
probably one of
Tasia in a pretty tough spot here.
Oh man, Rare Mana Reaping. That is a card. Oh my gosh.
Oh, when he doesn't even get the boosts. Oh no. Tragic. Absolute
Yeah.
tragedy.
Yeah, that Mana Reaping just was brutal.
Yep. That is game.
Wait, Sage. Omen's going towards you.
The real Grizz.
Yeah, I'm really excited
Omen's
to
on
see
B.
Tasia, and not only just to see Tasia, but to see Tasia doing well. I feel like Tasia's had a really hard time competitively in traditional altered, um, and she's just a really fun and interesting character, and I like to see her doing well. This has been great.
Yeah, I'm a Tasia fan myself.
In the smoke.
Have myself that mass anchored deck. Yeah.
Oh yeah, probably one of the scariest decks I don't like to run into very often is Mass Anchor Tasia for sure.
Nice.
That and festival decks. I feel like those two are always the boogeyman of whenever I queue up. Especially Tasia Festival, because I feel like, you're never quite sure if they're running Festival or not, and it feels like you always have to hold something back just in case.
Just in case, exactly. And she still puts out a lot of pressure, right? Like she's not always reliant on just festival.
Yeah, the ability to have the back door into an auto win is like pretty powerful.
Yes.
But being able to still be like, I think you should use your license withdrawal on this card, and then play festival, and then have like, oops. Traced on traced action here.
Yep, figured we'd go watch a little bit of
head.
everybody's favorite villain.
Tumult. They know you're there.
See if there's anything new and unique within the Axiom play line today. The exciting action is the top traced has 2 counters to the 1 counter for the traced.
Yeah, so I mean, Aragorn there, obviously, losing O2, but has the extra counter on traced, and also is up on cards as well.
Yeah.
So Logios is really gonna need to find some more card advantage or ways of getting counters, I think, pretty fast here, because Aragorn's also got the frozen delivery there
Alright, so you gotta
on,
pick it up.
ready
You gotta
to
pick it up with
just get
rounds, bro.
even more boosts here, or not boosts, counters there on traced scrap counters.
You really wanted to see
Oh,
a character
Edge.
there, not a Bastion, but oof.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Bastion is pretty devastating, but at the same time, getting access to Double Haven this early, and also getting, opts for the frozen delivery.
There we go.
Really looking for a character there.
Yeah, you would have hoped to have seen a character so you can at least play the character, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, they had the salvager in hand. I feel like if you don't have the salvager in hand there, I feel like I go for just accepting the losses and getting Double Haven, and setting up for a really great day 3, and also just making sure that you're gonna hit your 5 scrap counters well ahead of the other traced. But yeah, with the salvager in hand, you can sort of, if they don't play to one side, you can sneak out a victory and try to make sure things don't get
Nice.
you don't get too far behind.
Another non-character resupply. Where are all the trysts that when resupplies like this one I'm playing them?
I feel like that's always the case too, right? Yeah, it's like it's always brutal. Or it's like, oh, I have active Legate, and my trace player like just plays everything from the reserve and doesn't have anything going into the reserve. It's always like, yeah.
Those are always fun.
Oh, there we go. Aragorn's really starting to find their groove now.
I think he's resupplied all his non-characters already.
Yeah. Yeah. Logios, it's not honestly looking terribly great. It's looking like it's not going to be able to capitalize on the expedition lead they got early.
Should also throw a quick shout out to West Will. Hello, I see you've made a couple of comments in chat. Just wanted to acknowledge and say thank you for joining us. Appreciate it.
He's gonna spawn!
There we go.
I
The
was
twist
looking-
counters
you
are
saw him staring
active.
at him. He just reacted faster.
Gotta love that hook. Gotta love that hook.
And he's gonna spray it.
God.
Such a powerful card. Guarantees you a win and a side expedition win when used right with a card draw.
Holy
Yeah, Hooked was one of those cards I felt like was slept on for quite a while, and I think everyone just sort of figured out just how good it was. My fiance was speaking its praises from set one. She saw the card and she was like, "I want 3 hooks in every single one of my decks that can play Hooked." and I was like, "You're crazy." And then slowly but surely, people started adding more and more hooks, and I was like, "Maybe you're onto something."
You're onto something. Alright, well, looks like Aragorn did squeak out the victory for the companion side.
Yeah, the battle of the salvagers here for sure.
Still down 1 expedition, but you would think he's going to start rolling here in a moment. He does have 1 card advantage.
Yeah, well, it's more than that even, right? It's got
Hooked in play,
yeah, well, 2 landmarks in play as well for the 0 from Logius. Also limits a lot of the cards that Logius could also have to battle back. Yeah, the early aggression from Logios just not finding the cards needed for that sustained pressure. I think we're really going to see Aragorn just take over here.
Alright, you would think he wants to gram off one of these 2 permanents. The question is they're both juicy targets. Which one do you go for?
Yeah, I think
He's gonna
a little bit.
bug out bag
Okay.
himself.
Ah! I ain't no bit.
Interesting choice.
Silva go beat. The other thing 21. We don't need Silva.
Alright, and just waiting on the reaction from Aragorn.
Yeah, I really feel like you need to do math here, right? Because you have Frankenstein that can copy the bug out bag and make another bug. You have, you've got Haven as well. There's a lot of. I feel like your Frankenstein really is going to have to. Or you just have the second one. You don't really need to think about it, right?
Exactly. Or you just use them both and just you ruin this dude's day.
Yeah. Oh my
God, if he
goodness.
just hit 45, he might have healed.
Yeah, I mean, when you've got the 1 and you really need to use it for its full value, you gotta make sure you're placing it correctly, and then you just draw the second one. You just feel like, why even try to put brain power into the decision?
Well, that reach supply into hooked kind of forces you to use that hooked next round. Although I'm really surprised you didn't remove a card.
Yeah, I'm also pretty surprised by that. I mean, I feel like Aragorn already had plenty of card advantage over Logius, and I feel like at this point I would have wanted to turn the corner and just get the 2-0 here, the guaranteed 2-0. I think still sitting in a pretty good position, can just play the other Frankenstein here. And I think you beat most plays from the opposing traced, but still pretty tough. I do think I probably would have gone for removal or even just making a bug myself.
Alright, the Grims does take out that Aerolith Reef.
Are you sure it's all A? 'Cause I'm
Probably the
Yeah.
correct target, in my opinion.
Yeah, especially with the Frankenstein not just sitting on base, and with Aragorn not using the first one for removal either. I think
Yep.
Oh my god, he
also
saw
Creates
me!
that bug,
potentially.
like you stated, for that second side win. Pretty
Yeah.
much guaranteed double advance.
Why does it work when you
Yeah,
guys flank
one
it?
mana from
It's
Trace,
me.
you know, to come up with 4
Quarter of a
stats
pixel.
there, I think will be pretty tough.
Gonna go ahead and create that Aerolith token. Save that for next round. Alright. Aragorn looking like he's in a comfortable spot. Expedition lead,
Yeah.
card advantage. He is in control.
Yeah, has the hooked on deck too, if you know needs to. Just has the flexibility, card advantage, and also, you know, the Haven's going to give the extra boost.
Ooh, there we go. Got the Logios got that proper resupply now. Can get that brass bug out there. We like free brass bugs. And Aragorn just says, "No, you're gonna have to play in the other expedition this time around."
Yeah, I mean this is also, yeah, it again, you know, sort of. Aragorn's got that lead, so like doesn't mind losing on one side at all here, as long as Aragorn is getting a lane as well. Um, so forcing Logius to have to commit even more cards to this hand and not be able to just comfortably pass is really what Aragorn wants to do here. Just leverage the card advantage, you know, continue to draw more cards, and force your opponent to have to commit more of their cards. Because as it is here, you know, if they don't play the mechanic out or use the mechanic in some way, there's an overflow from the reserve here for Logius, which would be terrible. And any meaningful card that Logios likely could play from hand is just going to further exacerbate that situation.
And we got the Grims sacking his own brass bug or bug out bag to create a brass bug, making it tougher to build stats on the hero side.
Yeah, exactly. Logios is just in a pretty tough spot here.
I never ever want you now, huh?
Kind of odd to see a Trist using Foundry Mechanic. Just gonna throw that out there.
Well, I mean, I guess, you know, with Skybound Odyssey, there are a lot more permanents that you're going to be playing as Trace. Also, the from reserve ability is a really easy way to give Trace some scrap counters for cheap really early. So I do see the methodology there for the Foundry mechanic for sure. It's exciting to see, you know, like we were talking about with new sets, seeing some more viability come out for certain cards or seeing certain cards added to different decks. So it's definitely not your average Trace deck for sure. You know, it's definitely not an auto include, but I think is potentially pretty powerful. It can provide some pretty explosive starts for Trace.
Well, he did
Obviously, it
use it
also
to
can lead to
reduce
some.
that cost of the brass bug-up bag. So he did make that a little more economical for himself.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes Trace just has, as we talked about previously, sometimes can have too many cards. In fact, mana may be the only, contributing factor or limiting factor. Um,
At
so
some point, I always start to feel that once you get enough mana, it just becomes like, I don't need this much mana. All my cards are 1/2 cost anyway. I don't need 10 mana.
fair enough, yeah. But in the Trace mirrors, having a mana advantage might be
That would
the
be
end all
huge,
be all.
yes.
So
Oh, we got a Dr. Frankenstein into a Dr. Frankenstein. One has ways to make bugs, the other one doesn't.
yeah, but I really feel like Aragorn's position here is pretty
Ooh.
tight.
Ooh. We got the rare Aerolith. This just might even the game out, if not give him a lead.
Yeah, Aerolith is actually pretty nice here. This,
Although Aragorn has
unfortunately,
so many options in hand, it's not even funny at the
yeah,
moment.
yeah. I mean, the other thing too is that Frankenstein does a pretty good job of getting around it. Oh, and Amelia Earhart as well.
You would
Um,
think he plays a 1-cost card to start. Oh yeah, yeah. He's gonna. There we go. Yeah, he uses Grims, takes out the Aerolith. Okay, that forces him to only play a brass bug. Okay. Yeah, that would have been a pretty crucial mistake leaving that Aerolith on the board.
yeah. So, and with that, I think Aragorn now is just going to quite easily, I think, likely win this day here. So,
I don't think about the game, but he'll at
oh no,
least.
no, 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 yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I overlooked the very simple fact that the Frankenstein is going to be a good brass bug on the other side for sure. Yeah, yeah.
And then we get the Earhart. But he's definitely putting Logios in a tough position going into the last day. Like, no cards. You got a bug out bag in the expedition.
Yeah, definitely a tough spot
This
for
is.
sure.
I don't even think you mana here.
I don't think you have the luxury,
I
unfortunately.
I don't
Yeah,
think you mana. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. You're down so many cards here. You're down two landmarks. You're down two cards in reserve and a card in hand. It's in every zone possible. You're down.
Oh, he finally gets it. Just a little too late, I think. Oh, he was sitting on it. He was sitting on it.
Yeah, pretty late for that Haven. Man, Aragorn just kicking a man while he's down. I see. My gosh, the armor jammer there. Uh, yeah, I just feel like Aragorn's doing everything you're supposed to do here, right? You have the card advantage. Just keep the card advantage going with the Dr. Frankenstein on the first turn of the day. Um, and then obviously, yeah, again, constricting Logius's plays with the sabotage there off the armor jammer.
Yep.
Gibble is big, but I mean, we're staring at two Kylon elementals over there. Um, and I think on board is just going to be enough.
Sacrifices his own armor jammer. Creates brass bug.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Krems makes it even less less compelling there. So
Yeah. Oh, yes. Insult to injury gets rid of the Haven first. Then
yeah.
yeah. All right.
You get
Well,
no resources.
that was definitely a convincing win by Aragorn. Good game. Good game.
Yeah, I mean it's tough, right? I mean, I feel like Logius, played the hand well that was dealt. Did everything they could, just didn't have didn't draw the correct cards to keep the chain going, unlike Aragorn there. So.
All right. That was our last game in round 3. Looks like round 4 is starting up. Just waiting for the games to be started.
Yeah, it's been pretty exciting. A lot of back and forth. A lot of one player trying to execute a lead and trying to hold that lead, and then opposing players fighting back. Good tug of war action here. It's part of why I love watching and playing Altered. Is I just feel like there's always this cat and mouse game, and I think always trying to figure out who you are in that game is quite important as well. So. As somebody who plays a lot of Kesha and Ghoulrang, it's one of those things where sometimes my opponents will say something like, "Oh, well, you're down like 4 expeditions, like you're clearly out of this game or whatever," and then you just never let them win another expedition for the rest of the day, or the rest of the game. So
Yep.
things like that, like we saw earlier with Ben. Yeah.
I also eventually learned that by being a Waru player and being a big fan of the hostage deck. I have a few uniques that allow me to just draw my entire hand also. And yeah, it's kind of fun when they're sitting right next to each other. You haven't moved, and then all of a sudden you win the game. And
Yeah.
it's, yeah. May take 45 minutes sometimes, but you win the game.
Yeah. It's all that matters.
All right, on to our next game here. All right. So I think this is table 3, by the way.
All right.
Kadazad versus Skargon. We got another mirror match here. We got the Mandjet out already. Interesting. So they're both ascended. They both get to move forward. Huh.
Yeah, probably one of the more interesting situations for why Ascended is not you get a boost, right? It's because of exactly this particular situation is really interesting.
That's kind of funny.
But that one mountain, letting Scarragon take the 2-1 there.
That poor ugly duckling, just missing the one rock stat.
Don't get me started on mountain. The number of times I tried playing Common Legate but the number of times that Common Legate fails you for that one mountain
That
is
one
so
mountain,
high. It's
yes.
so high. Like, it's so bad. I just couldn't deal with it anymore. Just everything has to be even stats all across the board.
You said what?
I take it you're not a Lyra player then.
So the thing is, I love playing Lyra in limited, and when we play, we have one of all of the demo decks, the starter decks.
Okay.
I love playing Nevenka the starter deck, because I do think it's really interesting and really powerful stat for stat for the cards, and you just have to be really really good at planning out your regions. Um, but I hate having to have that level of like planning everything out and trying to play perfectly, on top of like trying to draw well, um, sometimes. So yeah, I don't know that um, I can play Lyra too much competitively, unfortunately. But I do love to play it in limited for sure. Lyra's really fun in limited.
Yeah.
16 in there.
I was
But here we
the first time I ever went to a constructed, I actually took the Navenka Lyra starter deck to a constructed event. I had never actually played a TCG ever, and this is sort of my first introduction to it. So it was definitely an experience getting my self handed, to me quite hard that night. But I
yeah,
learned
you
a
never
lot.
know.
I definitely learned a lot.
Yeah, I mean it is funny the number of players that when you lay out all the starter decks, and the number of people who gravitate towards playing Navenka first, I feel like is really high, and I just think that Navenka is like one of those, like, it's really fun, it's exciting, you get to roll dice, it's like it's very dynamic, um, eh, but learning that like how all your cards have weaknesses and you need to plan everything out can be a little tricky and catch people off guard.
Yeah.
um, but usually but I never have anyone who walks away from playing the Navenka starter deck and thinks that, like, oh, I don't think that deck was good. They're always like, that was fun and exciting, and like, I want to try again, so
I can do this. I can make it work. I promise.
yeah, I see now. Like I think the when people realize they're like, oh, I didn't play my cards right, and they realize that they didn't play their cards right, and then they want to jump right back in. It's like
Yeah.
that's the sauce right there. Ah, Skybound Odyssey, a heck of a card there.
I didn't think this would get much play when I first saw it. I really did not.
Um, yeah, so I had a testing chat going on with a few folks for Worlds, and we saw the spoilers for Skybound Odyssey, and literally all of us read the card, and we're like, huh, and then we read it like four more times, and then we were like, this is either insane or this card is completely unplayable, and we are not sure.
Right.
Like, we really, yeah.
It's. I mean, in theory, you're playing two cards for 6 stats, right? I mean, or you can get 6 hand cost for a 5 cost card, but it definitely requires setup and requires cards that Sigmar typically doesn't have.
For sure. Yeah, no, exactly. It was like, how much is the ascend mechanic going to matter, right? How many, like 2 to 3 cost cards are you going to place into your deck to make sure the card's mana efficient? How important is the draw card on the Odyssey card, right? Like at all these points, you really need to check the card, right? But it does allow for a more sort of mid-range. It kind of plays into more of the mid-range or the card advantage sort of style of um, Sigmar, who wants to have card advantage, have the ability to get Ascend, which gives you again the sort of pseudo boosts. In and so the unfortunate thing is obviously you put out your cards a lot faster than you would like to.
And
Um,
that's actually coming from somebody who always wants to slow play, right? Like I've never thought you want to ever be the first person to play slash one to show all your cards first, right? So like even this new rush mechanic, and that's why I thought this card was never going to be playable, because you're basically spending all your mana showing your entire strategy before the other player gets to react, right? And it just feels so bad in this game to not be the one reacting.
I agree with you, but also seeing the hero's soul be as popular as she's been as well, where sometimes you don't want to be the last person playing, right? Because you don't want soul to be able to trigger her hero ability,
Right.
as and also again I think they've done a pretty good job with the mechanic of trying to give you that little bit of a nugget, a little bit of an incentive for doing what you're doing.
And I think what they
Right?
did, I think they found a really good balance with Soul in a way, in my opinion. Some of the cards that they've given Bravos access to are just that, like that one extra stat, like Tengu, right? She's a 3/2/2 for 2 cost, right? So rushing out that 3/2/2 and forcing somebody to react is and potentially not even have a reaction to it unless they have a removal, right? Is I think they balanced it pretty well. Because there has to be a trade-off, in my opinion, right? If you're going to rush out your cards, right? What's the benefit of doing that? And I think by giving them the extra stat here and there, it is actually helping the popularity of Soul.
Yeah, I mean, it precisely, and it also makes some cards from previous sets that see virtually no play also seem more enticing with specifically, Soul, the hero, because like Kappa, for instance, right? I feel like Kappa, when I first started playing in set one, I looked at it and I was like, the stats on Kappa are insane. And I was like, the guy is like really good for a day two. Just like I play a 4-drop, I'm definitely winning this
Yep.
expedition. And with Soul, now you can just be like, I played this thing. It's virtually unoutclassable,
Right.
and I will then also get my companion. I'll get my token.
Same with cards
And
like the Warrior, right? The Haven Warrior, just a
exactly, yeah, yeah,
strong stat, right? Just that huge stat stake. I'm gonna play it. Pass. Good luck beating it, and yeah,
exactly,
I,
yeah.
you hit the nail on the head there too. It's creating a lot more strategies.
Yep. It's finding a home for cards that I feel like weren't going to see play in the way that the meta was currently constructed,
Right.
and also it allows for
That was big.
as you said, like you're putting all your stuff on the table, so your opponent can just choose. I'm just gonna take my ball and go home, right? I can just end the day and not play into your cards and get card advantage off of not playing into your obvious victory, but then it's like, well, how much card advantage is worth an expedition move, right? And so by having all your cards be really high stats, again, even in the later turns, it's not like your cards are getting worse, right? Um, and also when a lot of removal right now is low costed removal, um, playing cards that cost 3-4 mana makes them very difficult to remove sometimes. So it's interesting. The rush mechanic, I think, obviously does. There's two different sides, right? I feel like Soul can play more less rush cards and more sort of like higher costed cards, or you can go the rush route and still play cheaper cards and get that rush value. So there's even with Soul, I feel like there's a lot of ways you can go there.
We had some interesting stuff here. So we had the Jack Frost
Yes.
to exhaust that Frog Prince, which really put the bottom Sigmar in a bind, and then he came back. He was able to play this messenger and get it boosted. And then he redrew into the 3-cost Templar with only 2 mana. That was brutal. That, I think, cost him the game. They resupply into a 3 mana card when you only have 2. As my son says, feels bad, man.
Yeah, the onboard attorney. Yeah,
It pretty much just guarantees the win here.
unfortunate.
All he has to do is play it.
Yeah.
And there it is. Congratulations, Kuda Zad.
Yeah, so yeah, it was very well played for both players. Kutazad having, being down that expedition on the first day, and then getting a 2-0 later on to flip the script on Scaragon, and then just maintaining that lead for the rest of the days there. It's always the tough thing in the Sigmar lead when you finally get that one expedition lead and you feel like, oh, I can just coast from here, and then to lose it on a later day is just so rough.
All right, into our final game of the day, or final match of the round. Looks like LWW has just a bit of an advantage here. At least in cards.
Just just a small amount here. Yeah, we do have a lot of stats here from Tasia. And the nice thing here also is that
Oh no.
Oh,
Oh no. There's no totem out. Oh no. This looks like disaster.
yeah. Oh my gosh.
Oh
Twinkle
no.
Twinkle is such a rough card.
Oh no. Disaster. Oh, this poor Tasia.
Oh no.
Oh, the good thing is he can make him wake up. Oh no. That's not the wrong one. Wrong one.
Yeah, no, it's not. Yeah, you can just choose to keep targeting the same one that's already asleep, but
Tragedy. Tragic.
oh my gosh.
Oh, wee wee.
Twinkle Twinkle, yeah, Twinkle Twinkle can just be such a brutal card.
All right. Oh, wee wee with the win. Congratulations. All right, that should start us up into round 5, our final round. We do have one undefeated person still, a wee wee. So if he wins this match, in fact, it is going to be an Elwee versus Aragorn. Looks like it's going to be a nice match. So we'll watch him win this time. We will watch that final top match.
Yeah, I mean, it's been pretty impressive to see just the sheer card advantage that Wee Wee's fans been displaying here. So. We'll see if Wee Wee can take down another Sigmar. Or my apologies, Aragorn was untraced.
Just waiting for them to choose their decks. Oh, of course. And there we go. Okay.
Yeah, this will be a pretty fun match here.
This will be a good one.
A lot of after use, a lot of card advantage from both players. I feel like this is going to be pretty tight.
Yeah, they're both solid players, so looking forward to seeing this one. Also, just want to check in. How's the mic been tonight?
It's been a little. I think you have voice activity set maybe a little too high. I think you clip a little bit.
Okay. Are you hearing some of my background?
Occasionally, but I think more so it's just the clipping. Yeah, but it's been overall the sound quality is very great.
Okay. And a lot of times I end up turning my head away from my mic when I'm speaking, so that doesn't always help.
Yeah, I used to have to do a lot of voice recordings at my workplace, and we'd have a standing mic, and they kept yelling at me all the time too for moving away from mic mid sentence for sure. Uh, Pretty interesting. Day ones here from both players. They look quite similar.
Remove the factions, and it almost seems like it would be exactly the same thing. Both play a permanent. Both play a 1/1 with a 1/1/0 stat.
Yeah.
Oh, we get this early sabotage. This is a very interesting card. The Opera House.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So yeah, pretty interesting choice here for the Grems.
What, do you just sabotage your own jammer so that you can sabotage?
Yeah, right. I mean, it's not only just that, right, for the sabotage, but you're also then applying a lot of pressure on today. Or are you blowing up the opposing opera house? I feel like the lines here are pretty interesting.
This is what Owiwi's the master of, though. Just always getting one expedition, no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, in a lot of matches, if you can keep pace with your opponent and look for the opportunity to try to squeak out, and really fight for that one extra advance, it's why Small Step I think was such a brutal card to play against for sure, right? Is that if you know you have access to Small Step, you don't ever have to try to overplay in a single turn. You can just wait and find your spot. But with the Small Step change, it now forces players to have to try to pick a spot and try to squeak out one extra win over your opponent.
This Sap Sniffer puts in work.
Yeah, I think when I first saw that card, I really wasn't sure how much play that was going to see, but then seeing it in Trace, it's always like terrifying, especially if they've had a few havens going off, or puts out like 3 forced stats, and you're like, oh my gosh.
Just ensuring that the Trist has no resources going forward. And he'll do it again.
Yeah, this is excellent from Wee Wee, because
brutal.
Wee Wee just recognizing that likely not going to be aggressive and beat or take a lead on Traced in the expedition, so just denying Trace as much of their scrap counters as possible.
Yeah, that's what it is he's not going to get. There's 2 scrap counters that are just not going to be happening this round.
Yeah, I mean, Trace could draw into like Kylon Elemental plus Dr. Frankenstein into resupply. Like, I guess there's some avenues here where maybe they could try to
This
claw
is
back, but
this is a train wreck.
yeah,
Oh,
acapella training is so good against Trace.
God. Oh no. I guess you get to at least activate the next permanent and resupply again. Build a counter. Not the most horrible, but you would have really wanted to see a character.
Well, it's actually like I understand the card advantage disparity here is still pretty large, but that was actually maybe one of the cards that
There we go. He got his
Aragorn
fourth
actually kind
counter.
of
Got a
made it.
character out of that.
Yeah, yeah, just the free resupply, the free counter. Because now you can actually have Trace. Trace can finally get online here.
Unless Owiwi just puts him to sleep.
Tomato soup, that's what that is.
Oh, he'll choose to draw a card. Increase that advantage. There we go. There's an answer for Trist. Keeping the lead. Starting to
Yeah,
build
I mean,
his reserve now. He'll get a sabotage.
yeah, I mean, we is just gonna have to keep maintaining the card advantage here. The nice thing though that Trace does have is that Trace does have that still that has that one expedition lead, so Wee is going to have to start turning the card advantage into a 2-0 to try to flip the tables here
Another
because
bouncy.
as we talked about previously, there are two havens in play, so sometimes Trace can just rattle off cards from the top of the deck and have virtually infinite card advantage with resupplies into resupplies here. So having those scrap counters finally is going to really start paying off. And on top of that, too, Trace only has to play to one side every day now, so really going to be taxing Wee Wee. Nancy's obviously very good at trying to turn stats into card advantage here. We could see a hooked potentially.
Oh, I forgot to give that out today. Dang it. Oh, I forgot to do that.
Likely not, given that play.
Hey, Real. Thank you for checking in with us. I apologize. I did not post that Adventure Pass in the tournament chat. If you're willing to repost that, that would be greatly appreciated. Additionally, I'll chat each of you individually after the matches and touch base with you all. Want to make sure that you get those. And also for you, Darth, you are more than welcome to also sign up for that.
Oh, great.
I talked to him earlier and I told him to stop messing with stuff. And I said, I told him I was start smacking your hand.
Dinner's done.
Issues keeping your hands off of things they're not supposed to be on.
Is that right?
Yeah, I'm actually not hating Aragorn's position right now. As we said, he has that one expedition lead. Aragorn only has to win one expedition each day, and is able to have a lot of card agency now because it has the scrap counters, and we're really
And
gonna have to see a lot of.
you only need the amount of cards that it costs 7 mana to play, right? You don't need 10 cards in hand.
Exactly, and um, we're really going to need to see we start doing a lot of after use in order to sort of see where Aragorn's going to be committing all of his stats, because if Wee is playing card for card with Aragorn, there's just a higher potential that Aragorn's stats are going to outpace Wee
I
Wee's.
swear
So.
you just don't listen, buddy. It wasn't just me who even said it this time. Great grandpa said it too.
What is it, you just don't believe us, or what? Is that what it is? You don't believe nobody when they say something?
No, it's just my thing.
And the Requiem. Ooh.
So you don't believe us.
That's what I'm saying, you don't believe us. That's what we're trying to say.
So, test it out.
That's because you don't believe us. If you would believe us, you wouldn't have.
Requiem hitting the Haven there.
Not
It's
a
really good,
horrible
obviously, because it
choice.
stops Grems from creating an extra 2/2.
Yes, yes, yes.
But there's already a decent amount of stats on the board right now. Makes me think that likely there might be some characters getting put to sleep this day.
Truth or the full truth in this house.
Yep.
Please.
Will be interesting to see the response. He's got lots of stats up on the board.
Go ahead and test it. You
Yeah,
don't believe
go
us.
take a bite. Why not? You don't believe me?
Okay.
Yeah, there it is. That was about basically the only thing I think that made sense for this day for Fen to be able to fight against the stats that Traced has. But unless there's back to back,
Uh-oh. We mentions misclick. That is game.
oof.
Aragorn with the tryst. The villain takes the win.
That's brutal. I can't tell you how many times I've misclicked myself out of a victory on BGA. The number of times I've accidentally small stepped my opponents is pretty high. I think that would have been a really interesting match to see the following days there. If we had back to back sleeps there, would have been pretty interesting and likely could have secured the win there. But I mean, we are playing, trying to play pretty quickly in these rounds. So I mean, misclicks are bound to happen. Um, it's just the nature of the client, unfortunately.
All right, and unfortunately, that misclick has given a wee second place. So our tournament has come to a conclusion. All 5 games have been played out, and
Still just absolutely, incredible play from Wee Wee, though.
Yes.
It is unfortunate that it ended that way, but still was a stellar performance and a really fun-looking fun list, gotta say.
yes.
I know I said that I typically don't play Lyra in competitive, but it certainly makes it a very compelling to play Fen. So
Agree. He makes it look fun. He always makes it look so
For sure.
easy, also. And then you go to play it, and you're like, "What? No!"
yeah, when helping folks test, I have played a decent amount of Fen for testing, and I do always I always get swayed to potentially play Lyra because of Fen. Um, but there's a person at my locals who started playing Fen early on in set one and was my absolute nemesis. Beat me in the finals of virtually every event that we played at, and made it so I almost virtually can never play Fen for that reason. It's tainted.
Oh no.
Yeah, no, so I don't know. Maybe I'll get over it, but
All right, sir. Thank you, Darth, for joining me today. I really do appreciate
yeah,
you
no,
taking the
it's
time
fun.
this evening. This was fun. Really appreciate your insights. You made it. Yeah, it was nice. Didn't have a lot of downtime in between, so appreciate.
Yeah, no, it was a lot of fun, and again, like I said, I'm fairly new to the format, but these were exciting games, like I said, and also seeing some of the interesting takes on some of these new heroes in this format as well. So it's a great time, and I'm glad to see that the no unique format is going to get more support. So that's awesome.
Yep, looking forward to it. Right on. So, cheers. Thank you, everybody, for joining in tonight. Again, if you're hanging out there, have a great night. Thank you, and we'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, see you guys.